Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to Just Between Us Girls. I am your host, Lady Kim Sims. And if this is your first time joining us, we say welcome. Many have asked the question, what is Just Between Us Girls? Just Between Us Girls is a television show, it's a podcast, it's a support group, and it's a sisterhood all rolled up into one. We believe that every girl needs a group of girlfriends, women, aunties, and nieces where they can talk about anything and everything in a safe, non-judgmental way. And J Bug is just that tribe. We will laugh together, we will cry together. But what we will always do is be honest, transparent, and respectful. So we ask that you get comfortable and get those fingers ready because we have a lot to talk about on tonight. We welcome your comments and we encourage your participation. But before we get started, let me introduce you to and say hello to my amazing co hosts. Good evening, ladies of J Bug.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Positivity herself, Miss Janice Millhouse. Now we're missing one of our J Bugs, Miss Smart, Sassy, and Classy, but she will be back on the next week or week after next with us, Miss Charlotte Taylor. She is the PK kid herself, Miss Angela Davis Burden. Hey, Angie.
Hey.
How's everybody this evening?
Woo. She is our resident funny hype girl. Her name is Miss Mona Jackson.
Yes, I'm in the house. Woo!
Oh,
And last but certainly like not least is our free thinking millennial to keep us all in check. Welcome, Miss Deanna V. Williams.
hey, hey,
Yes,
y'all.
yes.
All right, ladies of J Bug, let's get started. J Bug, can we talk? On tonight's episode of Just Between Us Girls, we are talking about when the child becomes the parent, the cost of being a caregiver. Ooh, this is a good one tonight.
Oh, yeah.
So, taking care of a loved one is no small responsibility. It can feel both thankless and emotionally rewarding. And while some caregiving responsibilities can be squeezed into our already busy professional and personal lives, there may come a time when you need to decide between caregiving for your aging loved one or keeping your job. Here's what you need to consider. According to caregiver data, the average annual out of pocket expense for caregiving is $7,400. One in three workers who cite caregiving as a way to earn a living have quit a job because of it. 75% of caregivers are women, and caregiving is an emotional, physical, and financial commitment. Providing care for a loved one doesn't offer the same ability to leave the work at the office, as
Mm-hmm.
many normal day jobs. It also involves physical and logistical challenges, as well as a level of intimacy with your loved one that might be new or uncomfortable for you. Caregiving can be emotionally demanding. When deciding what and how much you can do, make sure that you have the emotional support to handle it. It's hard watching your loved one struggle with things they were once capable of. Don't underestimate how emotionally draining this role reversal can be. Caregiving can be physically difficult and time consuming. The frailer your loved one becomes, the harder it will be to care for them. In the case of a loved one with memory related concerns, such as dementia or Alzheimer's, caregivers usually need special training. If you need help, don't hesitate to ask for it, and never, ever feel guilty. Even medical personnel have support. They have teams and support.
That's right.
So think about the individual tasks your loved one currently needs help with and add up how long each takes. Make sure that you aren't responsible for more than you can realistically give give out. Give out without draining yourself. This is
Mm-hmm.
especially true if you have a job and your own family. Caregiving can be expensive. Hiring outside help for caregivers can range from about 18,000 per year for adult daycare to 50,000 per year for in-home care to upwards of $100,000 per year for a private room in a nursing home. Now I knew it was expensive, but I had no idea. Many families are both shocked by and unprepared for these expenses. As a result, many have considered quitting their jobs to care for a loved one, but think carefully before you do this because the lost income and future earning potential are significant. For some, taking on caregiving responsibilities is the choice that feels right for them, whether it's because they want to honor a commitment they made, they enjoy the time with the loved one who needs them, or they feel well suited to do the job. It can also be a fulfilling act of love or a way to ensure that you know exactly how your loved one's care is being managed. Depending on the type of the care and the needs of your loved one, know that others may not understand the day to day demands on you. You also don't need to feel guilty for needing some support or relief during along this journey, which can often last many years. Well, ladies, for some of us, this is a difficult and emotional conversation, but one that is much needed. This brings me to my first question for the J Bug ladies and our J Bug listeners. Did you ever think, or has it ever entered into your heart or your mind, that you have to parent your parent in the later years? Ladies.
Hey, y'all, this is a topic that is so close to my heart because I am currently parenting my parent.
Mm-hmm.
When I knew we knew that dad was going to be leaving. And I knew that I had the experience as being a widow to be able to help my mom navigate through losing my dad.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then mom got diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. So my siblings thought it best once my nest got empty that I moved back to South Carolina and care for her, which for the most part is a fulfilling thing to make sure that mom is okay. But let me preface all of this. My face, I chose to do no makeup tonight because when I went to the doctor to find out what was happening with me, her first response was, "What are you stressed out about?" And so I wanted to be transparent with my sisters, my J Book sisters, and our listeners. Um, a lot of times I don't wear makeup because, we're in a pandemic, got to wear a mask. It's kind of cumbersome. But
Mhm.
today I thought I would like to be transparent with what stressors I have. And caring for my mom is no small feat. Um, my experience is she doesn't want to let go. I mean, she wants to rule everything. She wants to. Yeah, she's the mama. And I said, "Oh, what's my little girl doing today? What is that little girl getting into? What?
Mhm.
Twice a man, once a man, twice a child. I'm living that, and I'm trying to do that as gracefully as I can. So when people ask me, Janice, how you doing? I say, oh, I'm doing good. And my skin is like, no, she ain't.
We can see it all over your face, as they say.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
all over my, no, she ain't.
Mhm.
But,
Mhm.
you know, if I had to do it all again, I would do it all again. I'm telling you, a lot of my days are stressful. And it's, I believe that whatever it is that I have to deal with or will have to deal with in the future, I believe that God has equipped me to do that. And I want to do that as gracefully and as carefully as I can because God willing, my mom is 80, about to be 82 years old.
Mhm.
She's at an age I only hope that I can grow to. And so I want someone to have patience with me, have compassion for me, you know, take time with me should I be in the same condition. It's not easy. I never thought that I would be in this role because my parents were so strong and strong willed. Um, but I'm here. Here we are.
Okay, ladies. It looks like that there's a lot of people who are not able to see this live, so we will post this broadcast back out there. For some reason, it didn't pick up live.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to, Janice, this is really, I'm glad that you're sharing this with us because this is very informative, and I'm sure that there's other people out there who can relate to your story. I want to ask the other J Bug ladies if that time came for you tomorrow, where you had to parent your parent, do you feel you're mentally and emotionally equipped to take on that responsibility? I really, for me, I can honestly say, um, I have always said it that I will always take care of my mom. As you get older and you start seeing some changes, and hearing from other friends like Janice and one of my girlfriends who's doing the same, I'm like, am I? I have to ask myself, am I mentally and emotionally equipped for this? And to be honest with you, right now, I can say no. I don't think I am. I
Mhm.
thought I was, and we all may think we are, but we really have to put some thought into um, into it.
because it really does take a toll on your mental and your physical. It really does take a toll. And yeah, you can say I signed up for this. I said yes, but I didn't really understand, you know, all of it. I'm still trying to learn it.
If I could give someone advice, seeing as though that I'm caring for my mother as well, um, it would behoove you to seek as much information as you can about whatever is going on with your loved one. If it's mental decline, whether it be Alzheimer's, dementia, disassociation, whatever it is, to really get the information and the help that you need to understand their diseases and how it will impact them as it will also impact you.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm, my mother's mental faculties are declining. A lot, and some of that is just with age.
Uh-huh.
But physically, my mother is, declining. So it's difficult to navigate through seeing the person that raised you and took you on field trips and, went to parks, games, and everything, to see that viral person become, more and more dependent,
Right.
and to watch the decline is even harder. However, I take solace in being very, very active with her doctors
Mm-hmm.
and knowing about what her conditions are and how they're affecting her now and how they will later, so that you're not caught by surprise. Will it still affect you? I mean, of course it
Of
will.
course, yeah.
It's no different than if someone told you that I have cancer and I have 3 years to live or 3 months to live. Grieving is still going to be the same. But if you have 3 years to live, you have opportunities and you can take time to do things more and be more involved than the person with 3 months to live. So I'm saying that to say that the more information you have, the
Mm-hmm.
more equipped you are to try to deal and handle with the things that are going on with your loved one, even down to the finances. You
Right.
know, because I had to, it's not just dealing with the person and the physical decline, the mental decline, but I also have to take on their financial
Mhm.
responsibilities as well. She can't go to the bank, she can't go, any of those things. So I took on all of that. So the more you know, the
Mm-hmm.
more you are able to maneuver through the processes. When I was a teenager, a kid, would I think that I would be here? No. My mom was, she was up at them doing, she was a registered nurse. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? She was very active in church, at work. She worked, and we did things together. So no, she was up and at 'em, as you would say. She was a
Yeah.
go-getter, so no, of course I wasn't thinking, that then. Who I
Right.
don't know very many people who do, at that time. But as time goes on and these things are happening because you're getting older and they're getting older.
Right. Right.
And then, it's not good to be in denial about what's going on. You need to
Right.
prepare for what's going on. And the more prepared you are, I think the better you're able to handle it.
Right. So I wanted to ask this question, ladies. So is it your desire, and I think most of us, it is our desire to care for our parents when they are no longer able to care for themselves? Or is it expected or assumed by siblings or family members that you will take on the responsibility?
Yeah, it was assumed in my family that I would. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm the oldest.
Yeah, I'm
And
not.
in our and in the family structure, and in most well, in a lot of African American family structure, the oldest one has to shoulders the
Okay.
responsibility
Mhm.
as children. You know what I mean? And
Right.
so yeah, it was assumed by my siblings that I would, because I'm, the most responsible,
Hmm.
and that's okay. I would just caution people to understand that there's a lot to it.
Yes.
If you're not capable of it, don't feel guilty if you can't, and have to put them somewhere with people that can.
Hmm.
Right.
I believe that sometimes people shoulder guilt by saying this is I can't, and everybody can't do it. I'm
Right.
the first one to tell you that
Right.
now. There are times when you want to call a timeout, but you just can't. I mean, your responsibilities are, and if you have other responsibilities, like I'm married, I have a husband, I have a child, I have children, nieces and nephews. I have responsibilities at church. There are so many other responsibilities, and I'm blessed to have a husband that understands. Sometimes I have to say,
Yeah.
babe, I'll be back. I need to handle this. Or babe, we can't do this time
Right.
because mom has a doctor's appointment, or she has,
Mhm.
a series of this, that, and the other. But everybody's not in that place. And I want to say that don't feel guilty if you can't shoulder that responsibility. I would rather see a person somewhere in a facility than being ignored, mistreated, or feeling as if they're a burden to you.
Right.
Try to make it my business to not make my mom feel like it's a burden.
Burden on
She's
her. Yeah,
always like,
on you.
I know you have this, and that, mom, it's fine. It's okay. If I can't do it, I would tell you. I would make other arrangements. But everybody can't do that.
Right.
So I don't feel guilty if you have to put them in a nursing home, or if you have to get someone to come in and pay for that. Don't, because really it will be better on you mentally, on the person that you're caring for, because even though there's a decline, they're still aware of how they're being treated,
Exactly.
and they're still a human being. And we also know that, you reap what you sow. So those things, just, don't feel guilty about that. And whatever counseling that you need, because there's counseling that goes along with you being a caregiver.
Right.
You need to have a team of people around you.
Hmm.
My apostle, my first lady, my husband are very encouraging, but I also go see another person that's
Hmm.
not unbiased. They don't have
Right, right. Somebody that
anything
doesn't know.
either way. Yes,
Right.
that I can really pour out to. You have to have an outlet as
I
a caregiver. If you don't, you internalize it, or to come out to the person that needs your help more than anything.
Right.
So I've had to take on a lot of things, initially, to include being in denial. I mean, I'm speaking from personal experience. I'm not
Right.
speaking about what I
Yeah.
read in a book, what I mean, to, include denial. Before I understood how dementia works, my mother would repeating things and asking me the same question over and over. And I'm getting irritated because we just talked about that 2 hours ago. And you calling me right
Right,
now.
right,
What
right.
are you doing? This and that. So, and yeah, and as it progresses, the 2 hours will be an hour will be, repetitive. I had to take a step back out of my personal space and out of my feelings, and remembering who she was, to understand who she is.
right.
And
Right.
that took a minute. That wasn't something that, happens overnight. But if you can see it happening, then don't be in denial. Take the steps that you
Yes,
need
things.
medically with their doctors to understand, and what you need personally, so that you
Hmm.
don't lose your mind and lose yourself in the situation.
So I also want to throw in this question. Do you feel the job of taking care of the parent should rest solely on one sibling, or
It
should it be on
shouldn't.
all siblings?
It shouldn't. But I would say this, but I'm learning because I come from a large family. As far as my immediate, it's seven of us, six girls and one boy. So but I'm learning with families, especially large families. I look at it like this. The Mercedes Benz uh, car line, they got different classes. Each
Mhm.
one can do different things, have different capabilities. You got the top of the line down to the what they call it, the I think it's the E class or the S class, which is up. But that's how it is with people. We have different capabilities. I
Mhm.
think that, like in my family, it would seem that it's just one person's responsibility. But being on the other side now of a person who helped take care of my mother when she got to that place, I was more equipped to deal with things that my other siblings weren't able to deal with as far as the emotional part. And um, so yeah, they relied on me because they couldn't handle certain things. So I don't
Mhm.
think it was like that they didn't want to do it. It's just that they couldn't.
They couldn't do it.
God said He'll put no more on you than what you can bear, and some things they couldn't bear. When they went to those hospitals, they couldn't bear some of the questions and the comments made by the doctors. Whereas me, you know, I don't know. I just had a strength that where when at that time I could deal it, and if I needed to go somewhere later on and release, I could do that. But they just
Mhm.
couldn't do that. So I don't look at it as that they just expected me. I think it was just because I had been equipped to, and
Mhm.
being a person on the other side now. I'm so glad I had those moments because my mother was so strong, and so independent. Had she not gotten to that point, I
We.
never would have got a chance to comb her hair and touch her in certain ways, have intimate moments with her that I would have never had. So those now that she's transitioned, I remember those moments, and they are so they're sweet memories. Yes, it was difficult seeing her decline, and telling the same story. She had this one tape, cassette at that, Lucille Pope and the Pearly Gates, and she wanted to play that over and over and over and over again. And she only talked about going fishing, and she talked about driving her car every day. These were her stories. But I guess I just had a just being with her and having those intimate moments. It became funny. We would laugh. We would laugh. She would talk about her childhood and just things that I would have never got the opportunity to experience. So
Mhm.
I was equipped for it, and I thank God for it. So I don't look at it at first. I did. I was like, they just think because I'm the only one can do this. But now looking back, I was just equipped for it. They
Hmm.
weren't.
Yep.
Mhm.
I totally agree. And I think that just leans back to what I was just saying before that, um, just like you said, Angela, everybody has their thing that they
Mhm.
can do. And if you do
Yeah.
that, that's just one less thing that I have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think you just have to look at it at the end of the day. If I say that I'm going to care for her, then I innately just put in my head that I'm going to do anything, that I'm going to do everything.
Hmm.
And any
Right.
help that I get outside of that is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
okay.
know what I mean? So yeah, and not to make them feel guilty because they can't.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If I call and you can, that's great. But if you can't, I have to make it happen anyway. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so it would be nice if it would, but it's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah, that's a good. I like that you. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it is.
I appreciate that perspective. So many of us have parents or know of someone who has a parent diagnosed with dementia. Some dementia patients are combative and want their own way, despite the fact that their mental capacity is dwindling. Sorry about that. How would you handle turning their combativeness around from anger to calmness if you were working with a, like if you had a parent who has dementia?
Well, I do know that first of all, you got to take a deep breath and know that it's them, but it's not them. you know, know that it's not personal. You know,
Right.
and I remember watching Oprah Winfrey one time, and I forget the lady. She was some well-known author. She had had a stroke, and a massive one at that, and she was comatose for a long time. And she said that people would come, and she would, she couldn't speak, she couldn't verbalize, she was, she was just, but she would hear them. And then she said it was like she was on the inside screaming, not wanting not to get out, and she was just so angry. So I think a lot of the combativeness and anger come from them. They're in there, but they can't verbalize and respond the way they want to. So that's where that comes from. And as a caregiver, you have to realize they're just as frustrated as you are. That's just
Right.
going, you're an adult. You look in the mirror, you see an adult, but you don't remember to do certain things. You don't do, things that were supposed to come second nature to you. You just have to take a moment and don't take it personal, and give them a moment. Sometimes walk away, give them a moment to have their moment. And long as they're in a safe environment where they're not bringing harm to themselves or anyone else, just say, just like a kid in timeout, I'm gonna come back in a few minutes and we'll try this again.
Right. Right.
you know I love you, but I'm gonna walk away.
Yeah.
So
It's funny when it's not funny, but when you said that about the lady being in a coma, I can somewhat relate to that. When I was recovering from COVID,
mhm,
I was so tired, and so I couldn't even open my eyes, but I could hear everything that was going around on
mhm.
around me, and I kept wanting to say, from the ladies talking about my toenail polish and whether they would wear it or not, to my rings, that he must really love her, and I mean,
Wow.
I heard the whole conversation, and but I couldn't respond,
Mhm,
and I wrote about it in my book,
mhm,
but um, that's why I was so passionate when I got a chance to be able to verbalize things,
Hmm.
because I said, I can represent myself, I can speak, but think about the people who are laying there,
Right.
and I was like, they can hear you, I could hear you, you know. So I kind of can relate to what you're saying. They can hear you. I'm a testimony to that. I
oh,
went in the coma, but I was at a point where I could not. I wanted to say, I just didn't have the energy to say,
Gotcha.
you know. But I heard everything to the point that I remembered it.
Right.
So, so be careful what you say when you tell people about
Okay.
it. Okay.
Because I'm trying to figure out who was all down in your feet looking at your
I
book.
mean,
You gotta read the book, girl. You gotta read the book. Miracle Marks on Amazon.
hey,
So,
Kim, very
so
well written, very well written. When I read your book, I was thinking, who in that hospital do I need to go down there and snatch a wig off of? You know what I'm saying?
you know, so people they
important.
do know that you're there. That's
Yeah.
the point I
Mhm.
was trying to make. Is
Yeah.
people are very. You don't think that they're aware, but they're
Hmm.
very much aware.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna shift gears a little bit and say and ask the question: do we think is everyone equipped to be a caregiver? At what point is it okay to say, as Mona had stated earlier, it's time to consider other alternatives to care?
You
Hmm.
have to have a certain temperament. You have to have a certain kind of temperament.
Hmm.
Um, and mine is sometimes questionable,
I'm sure
but
all of us.
I
Yes,
mean,
that's real. Yeah,
hey,
that's real.
yeah. So if you're not equipped to do it, let those that are do the job. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
Hmm.
saying? A lot of my guilt is the frustration that comes along with it. When you know, Mama used to say this thing when we were growing up. Y'all don't hear me until I get loud. Y'all don't
Hmm.
hear me till I get loud.
Hmm.
She be done said something, said something, said something, said something. Well, don't be hollering at me. Well, you don't hear me till I'm
Yeah, till I get loud.
done.
I said it 20 times.
What's that
Yeah,
saying that they said lately? Try Jesus, don't try me.
that's right, right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, is everyone equipped? No, obviously not. You know, everyone is not equipped. When should you get assistance? When you start acting outside of who you normally are. You know, and I mean, and when you notice that everything starts to be a problem, everything is getting on your nerves, when you're becoming very frustrated and you're taking your frustration out on
Everybody.
everyone. Yeah,
Right,
not
right,
just the person that you're caring for. I mean,
right.
if your husband getting it, the kids getting it, the job getting
The
it,
dog.
everybody getting it. Yeah, it's time to take a step back. And one thing that I would like to say is that having someone to come in to assist you, if it's 2 days out of the week, if you can afford to allow somebody to come in 2 days out of the week, that's 2 days that you can take and recharge. You know what I mean? I say take baby steps because, as was presented when we first came on, it's very, very expensive.
Mhm.
For people that are younger, that and as we're getting older, it is very important to have like long-term care health insurance and money set aside, if not an insurance, some money set aside for the possibility. Of course, we don't
Mhm.
know where we may go, but the possibilities, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's a lot. 24-hour care. Janice is there, but I work every day and
Wow.
then have to come and care. You know
Wow.
what I mean? And 3 days a week, my mother's at dialysis, but the other days, and it is, the more she declines, the harder it is. The more I'm noticing that I have to call off work a lot more, than I normally ever would. That's because could pull on me because I know the effect that it's having on my
Right.
coworkers, my job, and me. If my mom gets sick, I'm going to take off. There's no question about that. But how it
Right.
affects coworkers, it also plays on my mind as well. When I
Right.
get back to work, of course, they, oh, I'm so sorry. I hate to hear that. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, they're short. You know what I mean? And they're like,
You're a
baby,
part
you
of a
gotta leave. Come
team.
on, yeah, you know what I mean? So there is a lot that goes along with that. If I believe and I know at some point there's going to be a decision that I'm going to have to make.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Before
Yeah.
my job makes it for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So those are things that you have to, really be cognizant about. I have a daughter, and me being in this position, I'm like, okay, I don't necessarily want my daughter to have to, make these decisions. I have to do this on her own. If
Right.
she
Mhm.
does it, let it be her choice to do it, not because she feels like she has to do it, because
Obligated.
I'm not been prepared, myself all this time to have
Mm-hmm.
some money saved up or have the appropriate insurance or, or anything like that. So it helps put you in the right mental framework as well, understanding what you're going through. Do I want to do that to my child or my
Mm-hmm.
children?
Hmm.
You
And I
know,
think just
uh, go ahead, Deanna, because she's been quiet all night. Go ahead.
I found something I can chime in. But I think it most definitely it's not it's a it just like teaching and education and being around kids, other people kids all day long is a gift. I feel like being a caregiver is a gift. And I myself, even though I have a desire to want to be in a position to be able to do it, just being honest, I wouldn't even let myself get involved because I know that I'm not, stable. Like, just I'm doing good taking care of 4 children,
Yeah.
and I would be honest, I wouldn't even try to take some, if I can't do something to the best of my ability,
Right.
or if I'm not willing to just lay down and sacrifice, because
Right.
it's time, I listen to, Janice and you, Mona, with the responsibility that it takes to be able to put in, and I'm just like, I just have to be honest, and a lot of times, my kids, they'll be like, well, mom, and then Mona, you made another good point, because even with my children, I'm like, what happens when I get older if I can't take care of myself? What y'all gonna do? And a couple of them, half of them say, we gonna put you in the nursing home, and the other half say, mama. But in all seriousness, I'm not, because you got some people like, oh, what? Put me in the nursing home. I'm fine with that, because
Yes.
let me go somewhere where somebody really is professional, like, this is their profession.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't have to
Right.
worry about,
They
if
know what
Right.
they doing.
you want
Yes.
to go hang out with Poo Poo, and
Yeah.
then I'm laying in the bed and
Yeah.
I'm not, I can't get up and do nothing for myself. So I'm okay with going and being at the professionals, as long as I got my TV in the room and I'm good. Y'all come see me on the weekend or what have you.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that it's a gift, and not everybody is equipped to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
I respect the people that take it on and try to do it, but we just have to be honest with ourselves, because you
Absolutely.
know what you are able and capable of
Yes.
handling.
Right.
And I heard earlier, I forgot which one said it, but and don't back down from that, because I would try to grieve myself and be like, I really want to do it. And
Yeah.
then
Don't do that.
when you feel guilty and stuff, then you wind
Right.
up signing
Yeah.
on to something that you had no intentions on.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And doing more harm,
I
and then understanding that you may do more harm than good, even in your
Yeah.
good intentions, you know what I mean? But you may end up doing more harm than good, because there's a certain level of care that people need, and if they don't get it, they could decline even faster.
And
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
So I have mixed emotions about putting me in. I'm not trying to be selfish, but I'm just being honest. I have mixed emotions. I kid with my son because I'm like, Lord, Jaden, ain't no telling where I'm gonna be at. Okay, so Jaden gonna be taking care of me. But because I've gone through what I've gone through, and I've had the opportunity to see
Yeah.
another side that I probably wouldn't have saw had I not gone through my test. Um, I'm a
Right.
little kind of
Absolutely.
not that
Mm-hmm.
excited about going into some care under somebody else, if I'm honest.
Hmm.
Because not all people, even though they are equipped, some people are
Right.
there, and that's with anything, are there just to get a check, and they're not really,
Or
their heart
paycheck.
isn't in it. So I'm a little, but you know
Yeah.
what? I trust God,
Yes.
and that's the thing. I trust Him to do whatever He's gonna
There
do.
you go. Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave that in His hand. I ain't gonna even worry about that.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jaden wife may not like me and may not want the mama to come stay. He doesn't know. I was
You gotta be a
kidding,
good
just kidding.
mother-in-law.
Yeah,
Okay. I was like,
listen, she
Lord,
look what they say. She don't have her life.
right.
She not gonna be
She
interfering in
ain't gonna
my
be all
life.
up in him.
She
Okay.
done lived her life.
Mhm.
Look,
So
if any of y'all still around when I get older, make sure they put me in the place where they have a weekly dance. The old people dance. I want to do that. I want to have an old people dance.
you
Old
wanna
people.
dance.
Okay.
So look, ladies, on a serious note, how important is it for the primary caregiver to get a break? Mona, you
Vitally.
discussed, talked about this. Like a spa day, a chance to go catch a movie, some quiet time, relaxing. Like I need my quiet time, and
Absolutely.
I'm not taking care of nobody.
Yeah,
So
you
how
have to
important is
relax and
it?
recharge. You have to. I mean, that's no more. Caregiving is a job.
It
It's
is.
no. It's no different than you
It's a
taking your
thankfulness.
taking your vacation on your regular job. I don't understand people that have 3 and 4 months of vacation. I'm like, when do you take time for you? You know what I mean? And you have to on any job, and this job being demanding emotionally, mentally, I mean, it takes up can take up your whole being.
Right.
Have to go somewhere and you have to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no, this job, caregiving, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And caregivers, whether it's a family member, someone you know, or if it's just a job that you do caring for someone else, it still takes a toll on you,
Right.
because you become attached to the people who you're caring for. That is the term caregivers for a reason. You
Mm-hmm.
care about, you know, what you're doing and how you're doing it.
That's
So
right.
it's very important. There's no way around it.
So how often should that person try, if they're not doing it now? What
Mhm.
would you encourage them to do? How often would you say take a little time for you, or take maybe the weekend, or take what would your recommendation be? Now,
You
not
know,
all of us can do it.
if I got the time to go and get a mani pedi,
Mm,
you
Mhm.
know, uh, being a widow for all the years that I've been a widow, I've gotten used to a lot of quiet time.
Mhm.
It's different for mom because she and dad was she talking all the time. Mama get up talking. She don't get up talking in the quiet voice. No, she get up. You know, well
she's been
outside.
talking to her husband all these
Yeah,
years.
yeah. So she wants to talk all the time, and
Mhm.
I'm pretty much used to my quiet time. So I
Mhm.
know she gets frustrated because people call. I'm on the phone. I get back on the phone and I'm a mute. But if my siblings would say, "Hey sis, you know what you want to do? Go take 2 hours and go see a movie, or go take a leisurely lunch, or just go somewhere. I got this. Just
Mhm.
I mean, I'm here 24/7. I don't get no breaks, you know. So
I'm
I
gonna
know they're needed, and I'll talk to them. I talk to them about it. You need to, y'all need to, yeah, you know. Sometimes something happens, sometimes not, mostly not. But
Yeah.
I mean, I can't get mad at them because
Yeah.
she their mama too.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
You want to be like that commercial, that Southwest Airlines commercial, where they the grandpa the mother and father take the baby to the grandparents' house, ring the doorbell, jump in the car, and
And here's the other part of that. All of my other siblings have mates. See, I'm the only one who's out here by myself. So they figure, I figured once I raised my kids and got an empty
Right.
nester, then it'd be my time again.
Right.
I go from parenting my children to now parenting a parent.
Yeah.
I've said, Lord, have you not? I mean, have you forgotten me? No. But I
Mm.
believe that when the time, I wholeheartedly believe that God's timing is perfect timing,
Absolutely.
and whatever time it takes is the time it takes. I just pray for patience
Mhm.
Right.
through this thing. You know,
Absolutely.
Wow, Jan.
there
Yeah.
will be
Well,
a
Janice,
reasonable,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Angela.
I'm just going to tell, there will be a reasonable reward for your reasonable sacrifice.
all right.
God has not forgotten. He
Mhm.
Absolutely.
has not forsaken. He has not brought you to a place that is, like I said, put more on you than you can bear. I'm quite certain it gets to be a bit much. But
Mhm.
just know, if you don't remember anything, just keep saying that God has not forgotten. I know, that there's a blessing on the other side of through. And like I said, when you get on the other side of the through, it's going to be the moments like you're waking up in the morning. Those are going to be the things that bring you the comfort. And when, of this is going to bring you the comfort. It's going to, those memories,
I
those,
receive.
you could be, and sometimes I find myself, because my mom loved to shop. And even to the very end, she, wanted to go get her some shoes and a suit. So I went in one of her favorite stores, and I walked in, and honey bust out laughing. I guess people know what is going on, but all these memories and these moments
Yeah.
Mm.
made us back
Come flooding back.
so much joy and comfort, and
Yeah.
it was just something that nobody else could have given me. So
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
there's a blessing on the other side of through. and just know that God has not forgotten nor forsaken you. And there is a reasonable reward for your reasonable sacrifice.
Amen.
Wow.
Sure.
That's all right.
And
So,
Janice, don't be afraid to see if because there are people that you can hire that will come in for a few hours.
Hmm.
They're not cheap, but I mean,
Right.
it's not like you want them to stay there 2 or 3 weeks. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
don't be afraid to utilize resources because they are out there for
Right.
you. And don't feel guilty about utilizing them. Because
you
again,
answered my question.
if you're no good for you, then
Mhm.
you're no good for her. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean?
That's
Yeah.
right.
So utilize your resources in that area and get you a 5 hour spa day.
You
That's what
know,
I'm doing.
another thing I would suggest is have this conversation with your other siblings. Okay, I understand you all have spouses and lives and things like that. And I understand that, and I'm not trying to infringe on that or whatever. But what they can do is to do that, like Mona just suggested. You know, uh, develop a monthly stipend to an account that would allow you to get someone
Mm,
to come in a couple
Yes.
of hours, a month or whatever, to give you that release since they can't physically do it themselves. I
Right.
think that's
right.
a service as well. And if they can't sacrifice their time, sacrifice some money.
I know that's right.
Now that's good, Angie. I didn't
That
even think
is.
I
about that.
mean,
That's really
and
good. I
I
mean,
want
what
that
about they could do $50, a month
Hey,
or something like
something.
that from each
conversation.
Now,
sibling?
I will say occasionally somebody will drop $50 in my cash app. My brother that lives in Texas, he'll drop $100, say, "Hey sis, just go get yourself something."
That's
I
nice.
mean, so I have two siblings that
Mhm.
do that.
Awesome.
Not too frequently, but
Yeah,
Awesome.
they come and check in with me.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's a
that's great.
blessing that they even come in and check and think about you.
Absolutely.
That means
That's
they
a
got you
blessing.
on their mind. You
Hmm.
know what I
Yes.
mean?
Now my sister, she gonna come over about 15, 20 minutes, and then she gonna piece me out. I'm like,
I
you
have one of those. I
know.
have one of those too. And they're gonna tell you in those 15 minutes, they're gonna tell you everything you didn't do, what you need to do, and how you can do it too. You know, I have one of those.
And then they can leave. Then they'll leave.
Hmm.
Well, ladies, this has been a very good conversation for me. What it taught me tonight is for the ones of us who have our parents that
Hmm.
are still able and physically, around and can have these conversations. I'm one of these people. Sometimes I'm like, look, I'm tunnel vision a lot of times. Like I'm a person that can really focus. Like I'm like this, and I realize that now I have to kind of stop, and some things can
Check
wait.
that peripheral.
Yeah, some things can wait. Everything doesn't have to be today. You know,
Absolutely.
I remember I got laid off at my job some years ago, like years ago, and the funny thing is, God told me to quit the job, but I was like, Lord, really? Okay. Like I'm getting paid all this money and I'm working from home and I got
You
a
talk
good
about
place and
quit
you
playing.
want me to quit my job? And I mean, I was like, okay, 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 okay. Let me buy me some rental properties first. You
Hmm.
know, got the rental property. Okay, 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 okay. Let me set up this
You
business first. It was like, okay, 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 God. All right, all right. I hear you, but let me. God was like, and I got laid off
hmm
because
You hear
He
me now?
told me to do it, but I
Okay.
was trying to put things in place
Hmm.
to support that He ain't told me to do.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
I already don't. If I wouldn't have told you to go, if
Ain't
I
it?
didn't have a plan to support you,
Provision.
right?
Hmm.
But what it taught me when I was out is my mother and I would go and what we were doing. I can't think of what it was now. Sometimes I forget. We were going to exercise every day,
Okay.
and I got to hang out with my mom. We had our little plan. She was tickle pink. I lost weight. People kept asking me, "Was I pregnant?" I was like, "Heck." No, because I was glowing. I had no
Uh-huh.
stress. You
Hello.
know, I didn't have.
Right.
It's a good feeling when you hang out and you don't have to think about I got to be up
Right.
at this certain time in the morning.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I absolutely loved it, and I had that time to spend with her. And I think from that point on, she's still been craving that time
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, she had my totally undivided attention.
Right.
Yes.
Wow.
And so when I think back to that, that was a good time. It was a good time. So
Mm-hmm.
I do need to make that happen
Yeah.
um, more often. So I'm sorry I done got all carried away. Where am I? Where am I? Deanna. I think that's where I am. I don't have a script.
That's good.
Tell us about our sponsor for tonight.
Thanks, Lady Kim. Need a special piece for an upcoming event? Birthdays, anniversaries, church events, weddings, even for the bride or for any celebration. Join Angelica Tarplin, your independent consultant, every Sunday or Monday live on Facebook at Tracy's Pop Z's Jewelry Parlor, sorry, or visit her website at www.paparazziaccessories.com/369626. If you don't see her face, you are not on her page. All pieces are $5 each, all nickel and lead free, and every necklace comes with a free pair of earrings. You will not be disappointed. Interested in being a guest on the show or advertising your product or service? Email us at contact@comeevolvewithme.com. Janice,
Yes. Yes. Uh, Angela, are you doing this part?
Yeah. Well, we hope you enjoyed our show tonight, but we have great news to share. We are now live on both Facebook and YouTube. You can check us out on our updated Just Between Us Girls YouTube channel by clicking on the link below in the comments. And also by going to Just Between Us Girls YouTube site and also going to our website, www.comeevolvewithme.com/JBUG, and clicking on the YouTube icon at the bottom of the page. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of future shows. Help us get the word out by sharing this episode on your Facebook page and on YouTube. Mona?
Well, we've come to the part of our show where we give all of our JBug listeners a thought for today. The thought for today is love your parents. We are so busy growing up, we often forget they are also growing old. Lady
Mhm.
Kim?
Wow, that's great. That's a good one. Thank you. What an amazing show on tonight. Despite all our technical difficulties and all our mishaps, we have had a very great and informative show on tonight.
Yes.
We like to thank you, our JBug listeners, for joining in on the conversation on tonight. Now, we will not be back on next Sunday in observance of Labor Day, but we will be back the following Sunday at 7:30 p.m. for great conversations just between us girls. Good night, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
Good night.
night.